I can unmute here. Check. 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 It's not as bad. Still not good. Shoot. Still an echo. Check. Well, that's okay. Let's go back to this one. Camera. Audio. And unmute that. Check. 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 Nope, still muted. Check. Why? Mute mic. It's check. Did you oh, yeah, I did. I did. Thanks, Jonathan. Can you hear me now? Let me jump up here. Katie or Jonathan, can you hear me now? And is there an echo? Check, check, check. So I want to use this one. That's the one I want to use. This one here, I want you to put this one. Check 1, 2, check 1, 2. See, so can you hear me? If you can hear me, that's cool. Is the echo all gone? We'll get grooving here. That's good. Okay, great. I just can't hear myself, which is fine. I listen to myself talk all the time. All right, so welcome everyone. So I am the Disney Baker, and this is my pin layer. And what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about how to use layer pins. You know, there's I guess a couple different ways that I display my pins. I wear pins on my hats, as you can see. I have lanyards with pins behind me. You see my pin frames with pins, and everybody has their different ways. All right, so I'm going to show you, and we're going to go through. Today is going to be basically step one, because it's going to take a couple steps. Hopefully, you'll hang with me to the end. But we're going to do some basic discussion today. First, I want to just reach over here to my handy dandy iPad. And James Ryan, hello. Jonathan Sean, hello. Katie Y, as always, my definitely amazing technical director, producer. She does a fantastic job with all my technical needs. The Mickey, Bryce, Kelly, Jonathan, Jonathan. Okay, so people will pop in, and I know there's a couple of other things going on today out in YouTube land, and people gonna go where they're gonna go, and that's fine. But if you're definitely looking into pins, this is where you want to be. If you're looking into how you're going to set your pins up, how you want to display them, I can show you how I do mine. You see behind me, I have a couple different, definitely a couple different ways I display my pins. I'm going to hit this camera over here, and this is one of my side cameras. And hello, just want to make sure we're focus here. It's hard to focus. When you're sitting here, you gotta be on the other side. And then I'm gonna hit a button and you're gonna see different words and things pop up. Okay, so anyway, let's go out of that one, because that's not good. We'll go to this one. And hopefully we'll be talking to my back already. So I can actually turn the camera and look at you guys. All right, so what you see behind me is a couple different pin frames. Now, where do I get my pin frames? You can pick up picture frames anywhere. I like going to Goodwill, Salvation Army, whoever, whoever's open at the time where I go shopping. Right now, I'm probably, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, probably over 24, 25 frames that I can start on at any time. And we're going to start on one tonight. We're going to go through some basics. So the first basic you want to do is find a frame that you like. I showed a couple of them last week. One that I just actually I pulled out this last night was this one, and I like this one. I think I picked this up at I may have picked this up at Goodwill, and it's really pretty. It's got ornate edges, and you could use this for a couple different pins. You could use this for princess pins. You could use this for Frozen. You could actually paint this if you wanted to get intricate with your paints. You could, paint this like a silvery white with some really, really light blue high tones on it to give it that snow effect. It's just a picture frame. It's got a hanger on the back so you can hang it up when you're done. It's got a slide. This one actually slides out. This is a pretty old frame, though. It's probably back from the maybe 60s or 70s. It does have glass in it. Okay. But that's not the one we're going to use today. The one we're going to use today is something really simple. And the sister. Oh, I forgot I had this one. And I believe I bought these both at the same time. That is the sister frame to this one. And if you look at it, look at that. Thanks. Thanks, Jonathan. I think I lost my Facebook stream, but I'm not really that concerned about it. But yeah, this is a 5x7 frame, and this is a let's see, 5x7, and the next ones are 5x7, 8x12 maybe. Yeah, 8x12. So that's a big frame. So we're going to start with the little one today, just because it's going to be a little bit easier to work with. We're going to talk about a couple different components, a couple different things that we use. I do want to bring this other camera back up, but I just don't know that it's got the right focus. Give me a second here. Here we go. There, that's better. All right, now I think we're gonna bring that camera back in. There we go. Yes, that's much better. And it does have a facial. It finds me. So, but the one thing you want to definitely concentrate on is where. That's not really a good focus, is it? No, it's not. That's supposed to be 4K. Oh, let me jump in and see if I can fix that one. Let me bounce it back out. Just don't know remember which one it is. I do tend to name them when I bring them in. There it is. All right, let me just go into, it's definitely high def. But it's struggling. All right, so what we'll do is, sorry guys, just gonna get this set up here the right way. There we go. That should be better. There we go. All right. Let's see if we can bring that one up. Oh, there. That's much better. Yeah, you work with things long enough, they will work out. Okay, so I'm going to work with two small frames. So get your frame. That's definitely one of the most important things you're going to need. Go find a frame. You might have a frame that's been hanging up in, your closet or somewhere, but understand how many pins are you going to put in that frame. So what I did down here is I got a couple. Oh, here's another small pin frame. This was a set, and this one I'm going to do is it's going to be just an individual. It's going to be just for an individual pin. I could put maybe 3 or 4 on here, but I think what I do is probably use one of my big pins and build it out just for one. I can paint this, or I can leave it the way it is. If I want it black, I can paint it black. If I want to change this to silver, anything you want to do. These were dried flowers. Hey, Preston, what's going on? Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. But I do like this one. But that's first things first. I am jumping the gun a little bit. You need to say, oh, well, how many pins? How many pins am I gonna be needing? Okay. Well, what I did here is I got together a bunch of my pins that are dated. Okay. So these are 2020 pins that I got, and get your pins together. If you want to take a piece of cardboard, I use a lot of cardboard, and that's probably going to surprise you. I use a lot of cardboard. You can get cardboard from any supermarket. Any supermarket, if you know somebody who works at a supermarket, you go to a Piggly Wiggly or a Giant Food or a Safeway or any supermarkets that you go to buy your groceries. Sam's Club, Price Club. Go to the back and ask the guys in the back. They sell, everybody sells, cases of water or 5-gallon bottles of water, or they have these really thick, they're called pallet pads, and they're cardboard, and they sit in between the 5-gallon jugs, and then they stack them, and then all they do when they're done with them is they fold them over and they put them aside, and then they put them in a cardboard baler. So ask if you have a big enough car, or if not, bring a razor blade. And that's another thing. We'll talk about tools. Bring a razor blade with you, cut it in half, and shove it in your car. And then bring it home. Nice flat boxes. If you in a grocery store and the guy's in the potato chip aisle and he's putting up potato chips, those are great boxes. They're big on his part, but you just need some cardboard that's nice and flat, doesn't have a whole bunch of ripples in it, and something that you don't want it too thick, but you want it thick, just thick enough. And I'll go through that. I've got some pictures that I did want to share with you. Let me just go here for a second. I believe I have one of my pin frames that I did when I was back in Maryland. I think I have it on my external drive here. I can bring that up. What I did was, as I was building a pin board or pin frame, I took a bunch of pictures of it. Let me see if I can find it. And that's probably one of my other things I'll do is, what do you do with all your pictures? Wow. All right. No. All right, so see if I can do a share here. Go back to this one. And what's neat about doing lives, as you get more comfortable doing them, you can have multiple pages up, and you can share things from your externals, share things from share things from an extra file. I'm going to share a screen here. Share screen to 2 monitors. Okay, yeah. And it's going to ask me which one I want to share. And I want to share this one. And let's share this one. And let's see if that works for us. Okay, it's not going to work today, so we're just going to go back to what we were doing. So going back to what I said was, cardboard is definitely a big deal. All right, so corkboard. I use corkboard, and there's a couple different kinds of corkboard you can buy. I don't know if I think they all say the same thing. It's just basic corkboard. You can get them in different sizes. Like these here are just 12 by 12s. I like to cut them down. I like to put them together. There are some really thick ones that I don't use, just because the corkboard's really hard, and sometimes if you've ever bent the backing of your pen, sometimes that'll happen. So these are just your regular 12 by 12s. You can get them on sale at any of your fabric places, Joanne Fabrics. Hey, it's Space Mountain Dave. Hey, Movie Mania Nick. What's going on? Welcome everybody. So this is what you want to get. I like this one. I'm going to show you this one under the camera. I'm going to show you both of these. If you can look at how different they're made up. All right, see, this one has like chunks of cork, and then this one has like shredded. The shredded is the way you want to go. Okay, go the shredded way, because when you put your pin in, and I can show you here. Once you put your pin in, it goes in not super easy, but goes in pretty good. And if you notice, a little bit sticks out of the back. If you can see that. See if I can show you that a little bit better. Right there. See it? It's nice and shiny. A little bit sticks out. All right, and that's going to go to how else I do mine. Now, this one here, like I said, these here, it's just they have chunks of cardboard, but it's kind of, cork, but it's kind of like the spots that are like here, it doesn't grab really well. And then when you hit one of these, it's like harder to push it through. You can hear it snap. And then see, look, it breaks off. So try to stay away from the more big pieces, coarse corkboard. Stay away from that. All right. So going back to what we were saying is get your pins, figure out how many pins you're going to put on your pin board. Okay. So here I just decided I'm going to grab all of my dated pins. These are all pins that I have dates of. I like collecting date pins. I need a backing for that one. And then this way, this is going to give you a general idea of how big you want your pin board to be. All right, so you're just going to kind of place them out. Place them around. That's a Dangle, a 2008 Dangle pin, Mickey Dangle pin. And use, it's yours. So don't try to make it like somebody else's. Just make it like you want it to be. Here's a pin. It's Year of the Mouse from Disneyland Hong Kong, 2008. I really like that pin. Where are we at here? There we go. I like that. So what you guys see, of course, some of you see a 10-second delay, and some of you don't. So sorry if I'm not right on. I'm looking back at my monitor. I don't have a monitor in front of me. So that one's a 2012 Walt Disney World Tinkerbell. If you have any questions in the chat, please. And you're watching, I appreciate that, Kelly. Thank you. Thanks for letting me come on your stream today and lie to all of your visitors. I enjoyed that. Oh, look, a 2022. I have two of those. Put that one aside. And I think I caught everybody. I think Disabled caught me. The mama from Disabled, she knew I was lying. I don't know how she knew I was lying. But so get your pins, lay your pins out, and then one of the other things you'll definitely want to do is once you get your frame, as you take your frame. Oh look, I have two of those. I have two of these. All right, one goes into the trading bin. Which one is it? Which one has a better color on it? I like the darker color. I'll go with that. This goes in the trading box. Once you get your frame, go ahead next. If you have a recycle bin, go near your recycle bin open your recycle bin up, take your frame apart, very careful, or not apart, but take the backing off, take the glass out, and put it directly in your recycle bin. And that way it's not going to be laying around and nobody's going to get cut. So you want to open, and then what you can do is, look, I got Mickey, I got Minnie, I got Pluto. Yeah, those are cool. And there's another Pluto. Look at that. I think I have 3 Plutos. Usually use the ones that not scratched up. Pins go through a lot, guys. I mean, there are pins that are floating around there since 2000, 2001, 2002, all the way up to today, and they get a little scratched up. But if you get doubles, just use the one that is the scratch the least. See, and that's I got Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, and Donald. They're all from 2017. 2016 music series was really nice. All right, so there we go. So those are the pins that I have. And if I pull this way, all right, so that's my set. All right, so how big of a frame do I want to get? Okay, so if I was to pick one of my frames over here to my right, I would probably pick. Oh, so once you get your glass out, let me back up. Some things you're gonna make these, and as I'm physically making them, you'll see the steps that I take. But because I'm talking about it, I forget some really important steps. So once you get your glass out, don't throw your glass away just yet. Grab a nice flat piece of cardboard that you collected. Put your glass on the cardboard. Hold it still. Draw around your glass. Get your razor blade out. I have razor blades usually sitting on my desk. Get your razor blade out, preferably one that's in a sleeve, and then cut that square. Now you can throw your glass away. The reason that is that glass. Now, another thing, you can move your glass around your frame before you take it out. If it's got a lot of play, remember that when you trace it out. You might want to go another 2/16 inch to the right and maybe to the top if it has a lot of play. Because once you set your board in there, okay, you want your board to sit in there nice and tight. Okay, because you don't want it moving a lot. All right. Then you're going to have your backer cardboard that'll go behind that you'll affix into your frame. Now, if your frame is plastic, we might have to use some hot glue, or some. I think liquid nails makes one now for plastic. You can always use the Gorilla Glue, but you have to be really, really careful because when your pin board is done, you can use the Gorilla Glue to just set it into the back, because that backing is not going to come out unless it's a shadow board, and then you don't want it to be like that. You want to just put a piece of cardboard on it, make sure it fits tight. That way you can pull it back out, change your pins in your shadow board, and put it back in. Or we're not going to make a shadow board this trip. So if I'm talking too fast, let me know. AAA Sparkles, hello, welcome aboard. Dad Bills, I'm watching with the movie with 3. Thanks, Chris. Good to have you. Good to see you. So now you have that piece of cardboard. And now here's the cool thing you can do with that piece of cardboard. Just take your pins, and just take your backs off all your pins, and just start placing them, looking at where you want them. And go ahead and place them on that cardboard. Stick them through the cardboard. Okay, and look at that. All right. And if that's the size frame you want to use for that one, you might want to go one bigger. I mean, we could take, I've got a couple over here. I can take this one. Okay. And I can definitely use this one. Okay. I can use this one. And if I just basically take it and set it over here, that would be a good size. All right. So let's just this. And if you look, I paid $5 for that. Okay, so that was probably a yard sale somewhere. And it's in pretty good shape. Sam sauce. And I think I bought it because my nickname is Sam, and I liked it. I also bought it because it's got a nice edge here. That's shiny, kind of like a metal, and it's got this nice pattern. I don't know if you can see the pattern of wood, how they made that, and then the shiny stuff. It's got a pattern too, so I like this. Now, if you look at this, they've already put in a. I'm not a picture person, but I know this part has a name, and I just don't know what that is. Hey, Debbie Merfield, Debbie Merfield, what's up? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Um, Somebody will know that, but I don't know the name of it. So if I wanted to use that, I could do that too, which means I could actually. Monorail Molly, hello, good to see you. You could put your cardboard felt piece behind here, and then use this edge and actually put pins on that, and maybe smaller pins on this, and then your center could just be your black velvet that we haven't talked about yet. So, how do you start? Well, let's just start. So now we're just talking size. So this would definitely, sorry for the noise, this would definitely work for those pins, okay? Now, if I just want to use half of these pins and just use the center part, I could take watercolors, pastel watercolors, and I could paint watercolors on here. I could definitely do that. And even in here, maybe a different color in here, and then just use that inset to build out my cork, cardboard, and black velvet. I always wrap my cardboard in black velvet because if you look behind me in my pictures, you'll see it just makes for a really nice backdrop. All right, so size, you just have to decide. Again, take your glass, save your glass. All right, I'm just going to set this on the floor here. And I'm going to re-grab the one that we talked about. All right, let's start with this one. So what I'm going to do is just move some of my pins aside to give myself some workspace here. And again, depending on how many pins you want to use, just some people like separating their pins. All right, so this has a slide back, so we're just going to slide this out. It always has a piece of cardboard or a piece of paper. That's not necessarily the size of your cardboard, but when this goes in here, and it sits in, remember what I told you about? It's got a little bit of play. So you're about 2/16 that way, and probably a 1/16 or 2 that way. I would be more concerned with this piece because I think you want it to just be a little tighter. So maybe just add a 1/16 on both sides. All right, save your glass. And where's my scrap? And I did bring out a scrap piece of cardboard to show everyone. I just have to find it. I think. Oh, there it is. Well, thank you all for coming out. Thanks for hanging out. Okay, so this is just a regular old piece of cardboard. Okay, I cut it. It was a bigger box, and I just cut it down, just because I knew I didn't want one super huge. All right. Now, I have my glass. I have my frame. I have the piece of cardboard that they gave me, and it's just in there for a buffer just to make your picture a little tighter. You've all worked with that before, and we don't need that, so we're going to throw that away. Okay, this is the backing to your frame. The backing to the frame is always bigger than the glass. Okay? This is real important because when you slide this back in, once we set our piece of cork in there, slide it in here, which is going to have a piece of cardboard on it and the black velvet. When this slides in, it's going to be pretty tight, pretty snug. So what we're going to do first is we're going to grab what we're going to do next, sorry. This I paid 99 cents for this. So it's not bad. It's pretty frame. So I'm going to just grab my glass, grab my handy dandy pencil here, and I'm just going to search. This cardboard has a little bit of a bend here, so I'm just going to search just for a really straight piece, and that's going to be over here. All right, so I'm just going to hold it here. Now remember we talked about adding a 16th or 2. Okay, so I have this line here. I have this line here. All right, so now all I'm going to do is I'm going to go away from that line, both ways about 1/16 of an inch. All right, and then I'm going to continue making sure it's square. I'm just going to continue my lines. It doesn't have to be perfect because you're gonna use a piece of cardboard for this, and you're gonna be using a piece of cork, and you're gonna be using a piece of black velvet. Okay, so now that you have this, we no longer need this piece of glass. Right? So carefully just dispose of that the best way you know how. I'll leave that up to you. You're amazing adults. I like using X-Acto blades. Right. So, and I don't have anything to cut on here currently, so I'm just going to use a piece of scrap cork board to go under here for me. So that way I'm not cutting into my. If you don't feel comfortable using an X-Acto blade, get your kitchen shears out. Everybody has a pair of kitchen shears. I like using this. It's just easier for me. If I have my big razor, I like using the big blades. But let me reach. I do have a pair of kitchen shears here. And I'm glad I got the sound worked out for everyone. Oh, fantastic. Phantasmic Chronicles. Welcome aboard. Busy getting Disney. What's happening? Love this. Oh, great. Good to see you. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to start and have you on camera here. I'm going to start just cutting this. I've got a really nice pair of, I don't know what kind of shears these are, but they're heavy duty, and I like them. And they're very sharp. And you all know what to do with dull scissors, right? Throw them away. And go get a pair of Fiskars. I like using Fiskar shears. But this pair was given to me by my father-in-law, who is a graphic designer. And he no longer needed them. And I asked him if I could have them. He said, yeah, you can have them. And just follow your line. And again, if you're a little sideways, a little tiny bit off, it's just not going to make that much of a difference, because when you use your cork board and when you use your black velvet, it'll tend to take up a little bit of that void. And that's another reason why we made sure we added that 1/16 of an inch to both sides. And one more snip. There we go. And give yourself room to work wherever you're working. Don't try to work in a really, really tight space. Find an old table or an old piece of linoleum or something and put it on your table. Because with using your hot glue gun or a nail gun or whatever we decide to use, or even cutting cardboard, you don't want to cut into something that you cherish. All right, so there we go. So there's a piece of cardboard. Okay, so this is going to mimic our glass. So we'll just take our frame and we'll just double check. Just like anything else, Measure twice, cut once. Okay, we use that extra little 16th, and that's pretty snug. More snug than I want it. So what we might do is just trim this one down. And that's the good thing about why you guys are watching. All right, so what we're gonna trim it down just a tad. Get our backing out of here. And again, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight because it's going to be wrapped in cork and it's going to be wrapped in black velvet. Black velvet, where do you get black velvet? You can go to wherever they sell fabric for like pillowcases or dresses and things like that. I don't know what they have here in Florida. I'm guessing they have the same things in Florida they have other places. Leanne fabrics and stuff like that. Definitely go there. All right, so we took that extra 16th off because it was just way too snug. We're going to take this and all that fits into that. There you go. There you go. And then we got a little bit here, and that'll be filled and a little bit side to side. All right, so now, yay. And again, as a reminder, we only paid 99 cents for this. It does have a nice little red velvet packing here. And here's corkboard that we don't want to use. Okay. And we'll just set that to the side. Now don't be afraid to use scrap. Because everything has a cost. Don't be afraid. I saved these. This is from an oval frame that I did, but I'm checking to see if this will work for what I need. And I'll show you something. So even when this, let me get my pointer. I had a pointer here this morning. There we go. We can use one of these. Okay, so even when you're looking at this, if you look on this, see how you have that like ridge from here to here? Okay, that's going to be all the way around. All right, so know that when you put your cardboard in there, you're not gonna. You have a 1/4 of an inch all the way around. That's not going to have a pin on it, right? So what I'm doing is I'm looking at my corkboard, and if I put it right on the edge here and here, and I flip it over, see how it's got a little bit of exposure there, okay, which is it's like almost a 1/2 inch. But if I scooch it over, see, if I scooch it over a little bit, like that, I only have a little bit, and that's going to be just fine. All right, so what we can do is we could use that if we wanted to, but for all intents and purposes, I do have a brand new piece. All right, but you could, if you wanted to, you could have used that. All right, so now what we will also want to look at is we want to look at this side of the frame. Okay, how deep is it? That's pretty thick. That's almost a good 1/2 inch right there. Okay, but the nice thing about this frame is this is beveled a little bit, but this isn't. So what we could do is actually come out of the frame, the thickness of the corkboard, and the thickness of the black velvet. You follow? All right, so what we could do is we're definitely going to cut it the same size as the cardboard, but we will have to trim it down. I need to trim this a little bit. And what I'm saying is you want it kind of like 3-dimensional, because once you get your layer of cardboard your layer of corkboard and your little tiny layer of black velvet, it's gonna protrude and come out of this. This one's gonna be a little bit more difficult to set because it's got that it slides in, so it's not going to give me a whole lot to play with here. Once I get the corkboard on, not going to give me a whole lot. But we'll try it. And what I could do if I wanted to, I could just draw a line from here to here, a straight line, get my Dremel, and I could just go ahead and cut that on both sides. That way this backing would just fit straight in. And I'm not going to say I'm not going to do that at this point because I'm really thinking about that. What's going to be easier, you know, and of course a Dremel, I would record that and show you guys that. But I'm not going to whip out pull out the Dremel now and make noise. A little late in the evening for that. I will wake up the boss. And no, I'm not talking about Mickey. All right, so here we go. All right, and again, have the tools that you need. I've got a bunch of cups here sitting left and right that have a bunch of markers and paintbrushes and things. And I've got my Pizza Planet cup back here. My Pizza Planet cup. I got Forky. He's hanging out because he's trash. And I have my Sharpies in here. Sharpies are great. Sharpies are wonderful. Brian's West Coast Disney Adventure, welcome. Oh, thanks, Brian. I appreciate that. Brian's West Coast Disney Adventure, welcome. Good to have you. Appreciate the subscription. All right, so I'm just double checking, make sure you guys can see me. So I'm just going to go ahead and just draw down one side, and we're going to draw down the other side. And again, it's just easier using the cardboard than it is the piece of glass, and a lot safer. All right, so and what we were talking about is, you know, if we wanted to build this out, okay, we could definitely have this piece of cardboard, and I mean this corkboard, and then take this piece of corkboard and actually make it a little bit smaller, so it would be an inset piece on here. Okay, so we already have our drawing here, and we do have our straight edge. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do what we just talked about. Okay, and I only have to do it from one side. And I hope I'm not confusing anyone. Understand that anything that you do as you're making these, the corkboard is really not that expensive. The cardboard is going to be free. The most expense you're going to have here is your pins. The second most expense you're going to have here is your time. Actually, your time is going to be more expensive than your pins, then your pins, and then your pin frame, and then your corkboard, and then your your black velvet, then your corkboard, and then a free cardboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in from here. Now I do carry. Just moved it yesterday. I have a ruler. Call myself a liar here because I know I have. Nope. I know it's here, folks, but I just can't pull it out of my bag of tricks at this time. Oh, there it is. Yep. Yay, I had it. Just hiding. Thanks for your patience. And I found this unpacking the other day. Isn't that cool? I don't know what it's to, but it says Walt Disney World. I love it. I bought it somewhere. All right, so what we're going to do then is let's use a nice straight edge, okay? And we're going to come in. We're going to come in at least 2/16, 2/16, and maybe total of 3/16, maybe. Yeah, we don't want to do a 1/4 inch because that's going to be too much. All right, and what that's going to give us is it's going to give us a little bit of a 3D set. So the cork board will protrude outside of the frame just a little bit. And like I showed you on the frame, with this frame, it's inset anyway. Let's move that back. What I was saying earlier, you can definitely go back if I'm talking too fast. Double check on the replay. I'm going to pull up my scrap cork board that I had, and I'm going to go ahead and cut this cork. Now, it's really important to have a sharp blade when you're cutting your cork. Okay, whether you're using something like this, whether you're using something like this, you can make usually 3, 4, maybe 3 or 4 cuts sometimes with a razor blade. The cork does make the razor blade dull real quick. Once you cut it, give yourself a little bend so you can find out where you were. Hope everybody had a nice Sunday. I saw Donna Jaworski had quite a few people on her stream celebrating her birthday and raising money for Give Kids the World. That was great. That was good to see. All right, Chris. Hey, Chris. Let's see. Thanks so much for subscribing. Hey, thanks, Katie. I'm just catching up. Hey, Chris, do you have the 10 millisecond? Yeah. Oh, okay. So I can go even lower. Okay, I don't think I can get it any less than that. Sorry, Brian. Just run that blade right on your mark. Again, if you're off by a little bit, it's not really going to make that much of a difference because you're going to use your cardboard and you're going to use your black velvet. Now, in a box, in another dimension, I had my black velvet. All right, but I don't have it with me tonight. All right, so we're just going to probably let's see where we are time wise. All right, we're going to probably go from this point and take a breather, and we're going to come back next week and we're going to talk about how we're going to finish this. Meaning that, oh, actually, this says 1973. This frame's from, and it's a resin frame. And this is a slide in. So basically, if we were to continue from this point, okay, we would take our glue gun, okay, and this is almost the exact same size. All right, we would take our glue gun and glue the cardboard to here. Now, if you were with me on my last discussion, if you look at one of your pens, excuse me. You can look at any of your pins, any of your Disney pins. Let's see if I can't get a close up here. You can see it just barely right there. Right there. If you take your razor blade, you just rub it right down that, it stops. See how it stops? So it's got like a little edge here, okay? And I call that the safety edge, okay? Years ago when they were using, I know I have one on my other table, when they were using the old tie clip, let me go grab one. Tie clip fasteners. These little guys. You had to squeeze them, but when you let go of them, each side would squeeze onto the post, which didn't let it come off. You can't pull that off. If I could pull very hard, I could, but then I would compromise those little things. But what it does, it helps right on that little nudge on there. Okay, there it goes, right to the edge. See, now it won't come off anymore. All right, and that's what I use their technique, but I use it a little bit different. I don't, instead of using a fastener, I use cardboard. All right, so if you notice, most cardboard is waffled. All right, you got your zigzag in there, and then you have a flat piece on the front, a flat piece on the back. All right, you want to make sure you're penetrating this front piece. Okay, so let's just say for all intents purposes, we've already hot glued that. Okay, and it's right where we wanted it. If we were to take our pin, can you all see that? Look at that. And you can actually see that marking too. See how it's going to go through that first layer of cardboard. And you say, well, why don't you just put a piece of paper on it? Because even that first piece of cardboard looks like a flat piece of cardboard. It's not. It's usually 2 or 3 layers glued together first. So if you take this and you put it like that, and you're going to take your pen, even though you're going to put a cover on it or no cover, you can paint that. You can do whatever you like to that, okay? But just keep in mind, I like to use the black velvet, but you don't have to. You could paint this if you wanted to. Do whatever you like. It's your pen board. And you're going to take that pen and you're going to push it through, okay? You can almost hear it go into the cardboard. And now I can let go of that. And I know. Oop, see it? It went right into the cardboard. That little hole. Okay, so if you get all your pins on there, okay, again, that piece of cardboard will be hot glued onto here, so it's not going to fall off. But what that does do, it gives extra security to your pin, and your pin is not going to fall off. A lot of people say, well, my pins fall off of my cork board. I've seen and heard a bunch of things like that. And I go, well, that's my solution, right? So what we can do is bring our frame over, and let's just pretend that we're going to slide that in there. And this I thought was going to be maybe an issue, and it is. Okay, so because of the thickness, okay, this will go through here. Okay, now I could put that on there, right? And I could go ahead and put my cardboard on there. So I could honestly, I could hot glue that and then try to get my cardboard on there. It's just going to be too big of a push. All right, so for for this frame, what I would definitely do is I would definitely go ahead and draw my line from here to here and mark it, and then get my Dremel and get my cutting blade on my Dremel, and I would go ahead and just cut that off. All right, so I'm going to do that before we come back next week. I'll cut this piece off. I'll have my black velvet available. Okay, and then what will happen is once we get that, we'll get this matted to this. We'll glue this together, together. Okay, and then this will still be our standing plate. It will still. What you're probably asking yourself is, well, what's going to hold this on? Well, can you go like that? Can you put it on one way and just cut? Now, I won't know that. That's a good question. If anybody's asking, Chris, 3 acres, no way. Thanks, Chris. So yeah, maybe what I'll do is, and I'll record this so you guys can watch it next week. We'll just slip a little premiere in there during the live. So I'll cut one side off, and then what I'll do is I'll make a mock-up piece with some scrap and a piece of cardboard I have, and maybe I'll be able to go in from the side. Yeah, I still think it's going to be too tight. So the question is if I have my cardboard and my corkboard in there, what's going to hold this on? See here, because this is actually supposed to slide, remember? So what's going to hold it to here? Okay, well, that's when you start getting creative. Okay, that's when you start looking at the thickness of your frame, you know, or maybe you just make this part where your frame, your corkboard, is going to be inset a little bit to where it's actually going to be cut a little bit more. It'll be raised out and it'll set inside. And you can always, once you get your cardboard in there, you could always just take your glue that we were talking about before, because once you get this piece, and I will tell you, I've taken my pins off of a bunch of these boards. The one right at the top is my Halloween one, that round one. I've taken, you look at it now, it's got all my Halloween pins on it, but I've taken those pins off before and put them on lanyards, and we've gone to the park, and then I come back and I put them back on. Now I've acquired a couple more Halloween pins since then, so I probably won't do that this year. But the way I make mine is you can take your pins off and on a bunch of times. So once we get this backing and I cut those 2 pieces off, we'll actually be able just to take this, and once it's in here, fix some of either the Gorilla Glue or a glue gun. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about components, things that we used, things that we can use. Again, good, nice, straight pieces of cardboard. You can find them at Price Club, Costco, Piggly Wiggly, wherever you shop. Just ask for like a Frito box or a cereal box, cases where they take stuff out. As long as they haven't folded up and busted it up, because you do want it to be kind of straight. You definitely want to have good razor blades. You don't have to have the kind I have here. You can get just your regular razor blades, and I don't have one with a handle on it right now. I took it in the other room today to cut something. Get a good Sharpie. Get a fine point Sharpie too. Sometimes you're going to need a fine point marker. Get something that you can, address what you're looking at. If you have a magnifying glass, if you look over here to my right, you're going to see right in the bottom here. I can use this one here. Just shout back. Hey Pete, what's going on? You look at this one right there. Ooh. Good to see you, Pete. So if you look over here, that's not my halo, my angel halo. That is a magnifying glass that has actually an LED reader on it. Sometimes I look at a lot of my pins through that. But what I was talking about is have good lighting when you're doing this. I'm blessed to have, I got a ring light here, I got a ring light here, and I have most of these lights that you see on my tables. I've gotten them from yard sales for $2. So keep your eyes open, at yard sales. Pick up some small lights. If you look at, anything over here, I mean, I have a whole that you can't see. I have a whole table that's just set up, just nothing but pins. All under these frames that are this back, there are pins under all those frames. Um, like a good pair of scissors. You definitely want to have a good pair of scissors. Get yourself a nice ruler that you don't mind getting some Sharpie on it because you're going to use it with your Sharpie. Just keeping in mind, make sure you're disposing of your glass from your frame. Make sure you have a place where you can dispose that safely. The cork boards that you want to get at your craft shops, get the tight ones. Try to stay away from this type. It's just cheap and it doesn't work that good. Your next probably investment is a good one of these. Get yourself a good glue gun. This is dual temperature. It has insulated precision nozzle. I can put dots if I want. I can lay a nice long stream if I want. It's good for wood, metal, glass, floral. You can buy different. I bought different packs of glue. Okay. Of course, they want to sell you the Gorilla Glue brand. All I did was I looked at the ingredients of they have some ingredients somewhere, and just buy the cheap ones. Buy the bulk bags. This is definitely for this gun, but I also bought some of the thinner. I have another glue gun out in my toolbox that puts a really small bead. And this was my old glue gun. This was my old glue gun, my old Black & Decker. And I ran this glue gun, and I still use it. I've lost the holder, legs on it. This one has a new set of legs. But it works fine. It just, as you can see, once it gets hot, it just melts glue all over the place. And I usually lay it on a piece of scratch linoleum that I use. But it served its purpose, but I did go out and get a new one. So we'll be sporting this one next week. It is dual temperature. So some of your glues are high temperature and some are low temperatures. So get it going. I did. And get extra glue. Always buy extra glue sticks. And your frames. And now comes the fun part of the stream. All right, everybody goes, oh, the fun part. So what is this, the fun part? This is the fun part. This is the fun part for me. So I'm going to go ahead and put my markers back. And I have a cover for my blade here. This has a nice protective cover on it. And then that sits in my Pizza Planet pencil holder. We're going to save these pieces that we've already cut. I'm just going to put them aside. And then, like I said, I'll work on some of that this week. I'll do a small recording of some things that I'm going to do, like turning the back. But for the most part, I don't want to keep you guys out of the loop. So we'll do the fun stuff together. I'm going to go ahead and just slide that up and protect that. And there it is. And then again, like I said, it'll be inset with a black velvet. It'll rise it up, and that way your pins will be nice and flush when that gets done right now. So there's a smaller one. All right. So let's look at some pins. There was a frame that I brought in. Let's see if I can find it here. one. Oh, I found these 2 small ones. A friend of mine gave me these. Let me change the pictures here. She gave me these. And these are really nice. They're going to kind of be inside. The back is kind of like not much for the backing, but they're going to look nice. Got a nice edge on them. I got 2 of them. I'm not sure which pins I'm going to put on those yet, but I like those. But what I noticed was I went to a yard sale and I bought this. I think I paid like $4 for it. And it was someone's, when you join a DVC, Disney Vacation Club, this is a DVC from the Grand Floridian. Now, this is a nice frame, okay? This probably got damp and or moisture in it at some point, so the print is a little warped. So I bought it anyway, and the reason I bought it is because, can you see, it's deep. It's deep. So I'm going to make this deep, meaning from the back to the glass, it's like that thick. So this is going to be a shadow box. I'm going to build this into a shadow box and put some of my limited editions behind it. It will probably get a paint job. It'll probably get, not probably, but it will get one of my newer inventions when we do this, which will probably blow everybody's mind. And I'm not going to tell you because it's a big secret. And I'm going to do 2 of my other shadow boxes. And then this will be a shadow box behind glass. It's got a really cool, easy way to get the backing off. All you do is you just slide these guys and just take it right off. And then we'll just take that print out. With, the mat, we'll take that mat out. We were looking for the name of that earlier. We'll take the mat out, and then we'll build our new backing. Now, this is pretty big, so the cardboard that I'll have to use behind it will have to be pretty stiff. Probably be one of the pallet one of the pallet pieces of cardboard that we'll get. They're usually thicker, and I'll use that for that because I don't want it to be wavy. All right, so that'll be nice. And then I like to do show and tell. So this is my new show and tell piece. Okay, this is my new show and tell piece. So this is, I got this at Cast Connection, and I went shopping at Cast Connection, and Cast Connection is a place where cast members can shop. And this is a holder for room keys. It's got 3 little hooks here. It's got a nice glass door, magnet at the bottom, a nice crystal doorknob right here. It's not really crystal, but it looks crystal. It's pretty ornate at the top. It's got a little bit of nicks and bumps and scratches. It comes on its own pedestal. And they had 2 of them there, and one was in pretty rough shape, and this one was not. And so I bought this one, and I can't share what I paid for it because you'll freak out unless you saw it. It is a wonderful piece. I really like it. It's very ornate. I don't believe I'll do anything with the top because I like the way that looks. And if you can see that, I mean, when you're painting your frames and you find a frame that you really like, just remember you can paint like that. You know, all that was is, you know, black paint with some gold paint over, and then they just brushed it off. It looks very nice. It's got a nice edge on top. I like that. Now it's going to need to be painted and touched up. So it not only will hold pins on the inside, but I could place some things on the outside if I want. The pedestal definitely needs to be painted. It's got a little bit of wear, but for what I paid for it, it's a beautiful piece and I like it. So this will definitely be one of the um, late night uh, pin frames. I'll definitely do this either live or I'll do a premiere of this. And then there's one thing I wanted to talk about tonight was how, how I know how I think I need and want to move forward. I want to move forward being able to talk with you. I think it's I think it's super important, and I think that's the most important thing is that get to have a one-on-one with those people that are in my chat. So I know everybody goes, oh, we'll just look at chat. And well, when you're working with razor blades and hot glue and things like that, it's hard to get caught back up on gold rubbing. Thanks, Katie. I like that. Um, with the chat. And if I do something and make it a premiere, and then I can come on and I can talk to you all while we're in chat, and I can invite some people in and we can talk about it while we're watching it. So that's some of the things I think I'm going to go forward with. I love doing these. Don't get me wrong. I love doing these lives. These are fun, um, and I love doing my unboxings and things like that. I was unboxing some of my stuff from the house, and I came across this little guy that I had hanging in my room, and he's my Pirates of the Caribbean Mickey pirate, and I just have to find a place for him to hang in here. But he's just sitting here chilling. And my Jack Sparrows, I don't know if you were able to see my Jack Sparrows hanging out. I put a couple of them up. Oh, by the way, I'm good darter. I'm good darter. That's not her. So you're a pirate. You know what that means. So let's, with further ado, let's jump into the latest pins that I got. This one, and I got this box under here. I will tell you, I don't know how late everybody wants to stand up. I'm sorry, from the backside. I was going through a box the other day. I'm still on Lily from Maryland, and I found I collect cigar boxes, so I put a bunch of my pins in cigar boxes and then packed them away. And then I found 4 cigar boxes full of pins. And when I say full of pins, full of pins. So I want to put this under the camera so you can see it. Full of pins. Valentine's Day 2002. I mean, I've got a bunch of pins. So that's just, you go, oh my goodness. And it's like, yep. Actually, that's a dated pen set. Come out 2008. So I found those, and that's pretty good. Yeah. So Jen likes when I come on because I help talk about pins. And her and I talk about. I think we're gonna probably do maybe a pin show in the future. Just talk about pins. Because I work where I work, I do see a lot of the pins, but I'm also, let's see, get my front camera back here. I'm also, I also go to the park, so I see the pins. So, but there was a set that came out, the Peter Pan. There's a Mickey's main attraction series, and there's going to be 12 of them. And I believe we're on number 6, which was Peter Pan just came out. And Peter Pan dropped, I believe I was with Pete in the parks on Friday when Pete was here, and they dropped, but they didn't drop in the parks. They dropped on Shop Disney, and we were at Big Top, and I sat down inside Big Top, and I got on Shop Disney, and I ordered my Peter Pan pin and my Peter Pan key. And then I had a friend that I met at dinner with Pete, my friend Steve from Steve's World, and Steve had one of these for me. And I should turn off, see if I can turn off this light. Excuse me here, folks, or just, you might be able to see it a little bit better. There we go. This is the Mickey's Main Attraction key for Pirates of the Caribbean. And I did not have this. I had the pin and I have a plush, but I did not have the key. And the key is cool. So so if you look at the where you see the skeleton is on the ship's wheel, but then behind him is the coins, and the coins are from the East Island Trading Company. I need to see if I can read them. We'll go back to this page here. And Jonathan, I might even have that in here that I could show you. All right, so this says Tails Mort. I don't know how to say it. But anyway, it's the East Island Trading Company, right? But what they did is on the coins, there's castles. There's a castle that has, I wish I could show you. I wish you could see it. Hold on, let's see. Maybe I can show you. See if you can see what I'm seeing. And then I'll point it out. Yes, you can see it. Okay, let me get my pointer. All right, so you see the castles? Look at the castles. There's 4 of them. This castle this bottom left castle is different. It's got like, I don't know if that's just Tinkerbell going across it. Look at that. And so I'll have to find out what 4 castles they use, because the other one's hiding in there. But isn't that cool detail? And the staff that makes the shaft of the key, let me go back out. The shaft that makes the shaft of the key is actually, I have one behind me. And you go, well, how do you have one of those behind you? That's because I have a whole bunch of important stuff that most people don't want to have. This came with one of my Jack Sparrows. Isn't that cool? And it's almost identical to what this is. And of course, it's a skull on top and not a skeleton still. I think that's pretty cool. So haven't opened these guys up yet. So now I do have the thank you very much, Steve from Steve's World. You're a good friend. I appreciate you. And he picked that up for me. And now what I'm going to do, Jonathan, you mentioned something. I think that's what Jonathan was talking about. Is that it, Jonathan? No, I haven't opened this yet. So This is the first time. It's getting snagged on something. Okay. This is a limited edition. Limited edition number set from the 50th anniversary. And it does open. And we're going to go ahead and open her up here. And there she is. Cinderella. And that is pretty. The world's most magical celebration. And it does have a magnet right here. And it closes on itself. You can hear that. It says Walt Disney World. But let's find out. Now, I did pick this up. I picked this up a while ago. I heard they were back out at the parks. I don't know if they were in. Oops. I don't know if they were on or in Shop Disney. All right, so we're going to go ahead and zoom in here and see if we can find. I can look with my handy dandy. This is a limited edition 3000. Now, a little bit of information for those of you that don't know. Pin collectors in general. The back of this pin says Disney, made in Vietnam. This pin was not made in China. So what that means is, I dropped my backing. What that means is Disney has found another supplier to make pins for them. On the back of here, it says it does not say where. Yes, it does. At the bottom it says made in Vietnam. Okay, down the bottom right hand corner, made in Vietnam. So this pen was made in Vietnam, guys. Not made in China. So, and that is a beautiful pen. I totally agree. That's one of my faves. Yeah, new manufacturer, Jonathan. There's no doubt. I'm going to send him back over here. And I think I told my story about my pins, but this is a Newcastle pin. I can show you these four. All four of these go together. And then, I'm sorry, excuse my back. So I'll show all four of these. They all go together. This is the new Main Street, floating down Main Street. Ken's Peter Pan. So he's the newest one. And that series I am collecting. This one came out. This is a limited edition. This is a first anniversary, 1972 anniversary. This is a remake pen for the 50th. This is a limited edition. Of course, everybody's going to want to know how many. 3,000. Now, here's what's interesting about this pen. If you can see it. Yeah, it's kind of messed up here. Right here. This pen does say made in China. So there were already, and it's dated 2021. 2021. So these were already in the pipeline, for the 50th. So that series continues. That one came out, and then this one came out, the 10th annual. And I like that. The cool thing I like about this one, see if I can zoom in on it. You see what's at the very top? It's a Mickey Mouse. I don't know where I put my pointer. Here it is. Right there, it's a Mickey hat. Right there at the top. Right there. That's pretty cool. This was also 24. This one was 24. But as we all know, what do we notice about this one? There's something over something here. Something's over something here. Yeah. We'll leave it to your imagination. And then this pin came out. I really like that one. Walt Disney World. And if I'm not mistaken, all these are going to be limited edition to 3,000, which they are. And this pin also is made in China, the Mickey. Now, I do have something special planned for all my 50th pins. I will be making a special frame for them. And this one was just recently released. This is a limited release pin. They should have made it a limited edition pin because this is just so cool. It's a limited release pin. And made in China also. And we're just going to double check the back of the date here. It's a limited release and it's 2021, made in China. So the limited release is they've made a certain amount. And I don't think with COVID and everything, they're still making them. So normally limited releases, they'll make them until they just stop making them. It's not an open end like most of the pins, like the standard Mickey. They made so many and they just lost count, and it's just limited release. That's how that goes. So, all right. So now the creme de la creme, I'm going to be saving for the last, and that's this box that's sitting next to me. All right. I like boxes. All right, so we're going to bounce around to this one. That's you. Yep. And if you're just joining, you're watching on the replay, thanks for joining in. Good to have you here. And I got this really, really cool box. And the thing that I like to do with boxes, I like to reuse boxes, especially when they come to me like this. You just have to be careful. And because they are super loose with, sometimes you can get them where they open up. There we go. And sometimes you can't. Heck with it. We're just going to open this one. So where do y'all think this is from? Yeah, it is a pretty retro look. I like that, Jonathan. I like trading pins. I can't wait until we get to trade with the guests in the future. Look at my invoice here. something doesn't jive from my memory to my order. But we'll see. No. Okay, that's interesting. I'll have to go back and look into that. So this was an order that I placed with Mickey's of Glendale. And Mickey's of Glendale is a site for limited edition pins for cast members. And I should have 4 boxes of this, but I only have 2. So I'm going to have to verify what that is. Get with them. 2 of my pins are missing. Maybe they're on back order. We'll see. Okay, so this series came out, and I was like, this is the poster series. So this is the poster series. This is World of Motion at Epcot. And this is a pretty cool pin. Take some of the glare off of it. And these pins are pretty big. They are 3 inches by 4 1/4 inches. And that's pretty cool. That's World of Motion. And these are limited edition pins. And they're limited LEs 250. And these are Walt Disney Imagineering pins. This is an Epcot series, and these are called the poster series. Yeah. But I only got 2, and I should have gotten 4. So I'll have to. My invoice says I was only shipped 4, and my 2 that I really wanted are not here. So I'll have to figure out why. This is Space Restaurant at Epcot, Space 220, and that is a cool pen. Jonathan, I think I have it. I think that was on my last order. After I open up these, I'll double check. Okay. So we'll do these one at a time. So this is the 20th anniversary of Lilo and Stitch. And this is a limited edition film strip pin. And this is so cool. And this is an LE also. This is an LE of 250. And these also came from Mickey's at Glendale. And that is definitely a really nice perk of being able to order these. Also, I was able to get a Hercules Anniversary. And this is the 25th anniversary of Hercules. Also, it's a 250. There's one out there, Pinocchio. I just saw it the other day. Someone had it. And this is the Surfboard Collection. And again, we are, this is a celebration of the 20th anniversary of Lilo and Stitch. They have these surfboard pins. They were really cool. And these are also limited edition 250. So, and then we have that one. And let me move these up a little bit so you guys can see them. Actually, if I lay them down, move my pins here. Now, you guys, thanks for staying awake. Those that hung out. I know this is a little late. Sunday is a busy day, but I did want to get out here and talk about making pin boards. So thanks for hanging out with us. I appreciate it. And then you have Stitch himself. I think he's pretty cool. I like these surfboard pins. They are so cool. I've got a couple other surfboard pins that I collected. And again, there's a pin. There's one missing in this set also. I've definitely have to reach out to them and find out why. Because that's not what my invoice said. And that's so pretty. These are nice. Again, I mean, I'm not complaining. Understand, I am not complaining. Just making a statement. I thought I was supposed to get one thing and I got something else. So, but these film strip pins, I really like. They're really special. And the surfboard pins. And I think with that being said, guys, I think we're gonna leave Stitch up here. Stitch and Lilo. And then we'll have to say goodnight. We'll go ahead and turn off this light over top, and we'll just put a emphasis on our buddy Lilo. Lilo is Stitch there. Well, I appreciate you all hanging out. We did start explaining a little bit of the things that we're going to do with pin frames. It doesn't matter if you have 10 pin frames or 10,000 pin frames, or 10 pins or 10,000 pins. You need a place and a way to display them. Frames are only one. I have 2 or 3 other ideas that I currently have, and I'm working on 2 more that I want to share with people. And one of them is using Disney merch. I'm using Disney merch. Hats, you've already seen my hats. That's a pins all over that. But there's other ones that I want to show you how to make. That way you can display your pins. I will gladly make pin frames for anybody that would like me to make a pin frame. If you are unable, some people aren't physically able to make a pin frame. Some people don't have the time to make a pin frame. Once we get done making a pin frame together, and somebody wants to reach out to me and ask me to make them a pin frame, you'll just have to do like I did. Find yourself a frame that you like. If it's one of the ones that I have that you like, that you noticed in my show that I did last time, let me know. I'll give you the measurements. You can lay out your pins on a table. Your pins don't have to be really close. If you look at some of these behind me, my pins are close on this one. They're super close on that one. But they're not that close on that one. They're not that close on that one. And nor that one. And nor that one. Or that one. They're super close on that one. Here's my other hand, that one. So it depends on how you want to arrange them. Just let me know. I agree, Chris. So I just like right now, I like using Disney merch as my new thing. I'm finding different styles of Disney merch. And once I finish that and I get that under wraps, then I'll be able to show you guys how to do it too with Disney merch. So I've already written up a letter for them, told them what I was doing, how I was doing it. We'll see if they respond. I hope they respond. I'm not looking to make any money, but I just want them to go, hey, this is what you can do. You can buy this, and it comes in this pack, and then you do this with it, and you buy this, and you have to buy 2 pieces. 2 pieces come in one pack, 1 piece will come by itself, and then you can hang your pins from it. So I'll show you that on a future stream. But for now, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching me on replay. It's real important that you understand, this is something that you just can't do in 5 or 10 minutes. If you want a really nice pin frame, you want it to turn out nice, I'll show you how I paint this on mine. I'll show you how I just do things different. But you don't have to use the black velvet like I did. I like the black velvet. You want to go out and buy a material that has Disney on it, Disney print, go for it. But it's just something just to break that monotony of just that one frame. Jonathan, Nick, you're very welcome, Nick. Chris, just know that I have a passion for pins. I have a passion for Disney. I really like doing this. I have a passion for baking. I'm going to have some visitors in my house for the next couple of weeks. So I'm going to be doing a baking stream. So maybe I'll have a special guest visiting on my baking stream. But just for pins for tonight, this is what I do, and then I love it. I'm probably getting closer to 10,000 pins. So right now, I still think I'm at about 9,500. You're very welcome, Katie, anytime. And Jonathan says, let's see, use a Disney tote bag and put that up there. Exactly. And it's something that Jonathan said that because that is actually one of the items that I'll be using in future stream that I just talked about. Using Disney merch. There are many different Disney bags out there. You have the 50th bags. You have Tinkerbell bags. You guys go to Walmart, you see these bags. And I bought a couple, and we're gonna make a couple pin frames using that as the background instead of black velvet. It's pretty good. And actually, I have one in the other room. It's from Ink and Paint. I'm gonna be if my wife will give it up. Because I gave her the bag, and I said, no, I said, did I give you that bag? I wanted to make that into a pin frame. She said, all these other pin frames you have. And I said, oh, okay, maybe not. But yeah, it's an ink and paint bag. It's really nice. But I was going to cut it up and put it in, make it a frame. You're very welcome. So, anytime that if you have a question about pins, throw me an IG. You have a question about pin frames, what to buy. You want you're out shopping and you go, hey, Baker, will this one work? Take a picture of it, send it to me on IG. I'll let you know. I usually have my phone all the time. So I'm glad you were here. Thanks for being here and having some fun. I am Chris the Disney Baker. This is the Disney Pin Layer, the Baker's Pin Layer. Glad you came, and we will see you next week. We're definitely going to continue on that one pin frame and start another one. So I'll get that one cut. I'll make some recordings of how I did that so you guys can see it. And then we'll premiere it and we'll do it together and we'll go live right after it. But I thank you for being here. All my mods, thank you very much. Katie, you're just a technical wizard out there for me. And I appreciate you very much. Jonathan, thank you so much for coming on board. I appreciate you being here. Moving Nick, Chris, Dad, Bill, Debbie, you guys stayed up. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for hanging out. And we'll see you in the streams in the future. This is Chris the Disney Baker. And we end our stream the same way all the time. TTFN. Ta-ta for now. Peace, love,